Welcome back. Time now to hand it over to Manisha, who joins in with all the action coming in from the commodities and currency space. Manisha.
Thank you so much for that, Mangalam. Well, we have been talking about budget expectations in this segment, and today we are discussing the gold and jewelry sector, where the import duty has been on the higher side, and the sector clearly was struggling in the previous year. But the previous quarter has been a good one, and the expectations that we will see physical and jewelry buying continue in this year as well clearly are supportive fundamentals. But apart from that, what is this sector asking from the finance minister for the budget is what we will try and understand with Rajiv Pople of Pople Group. Rajiv, hi, good to have you. I'm assuming the first on the list is clearly going to be the import duty. There also is a World Gold Council report that says that because of the higher duty, 17% of the Indian annual gold demand is getting fulfilled by illegal gold. So 17% is a big number here. What are you putting forth to the finance minister on this?
Yes, our favorite subject always has been duty reduction and with the government. When it was even 35,000, our import duty was pretty high, and now the gold is 50,000. The revenue generated by the government will be much multifold. So obviously, we were looking at a reduction in duty, which is long awaited. That's the first part of it, and of course, the ill effects of a high duty is a parallel economy, which is what the government has always discouraged. So keeping that in mind, I hope this time at least the government will understand the ill effects are coming very prominently. As you said, 17% is a very big number. So this needs to be corrected immediately. Apart from this, we are looking at other aspects where even GST is concerned. We are looking at GST refunds for overseas buyers, like we have it overseas. When you shop as tourists, there's a refund in GST which always comes across. In the Indian scenario, we still need to look at that. Again, this will avoid the parallel economy which comes in for Indian tourists which are coming in for shopping to India and traveling back. So the refunds, when they start coming in, their purchases in India will be again over the table. So these two things are really important for us to start with.
Rajiv, as an industry, what number are you presenting to the finance minister? Because 12.5% is the import duty, 3% is GST, so that works to 15.5%. So what is the number that you're putting across?
We'll always be greedy with numbers, but a 5% duty I feel would be a reasonable number, because that also adds up to 8% overall, which is still higher than the overseas markets like Dubai and others, which are our periphery trouble zones for the Indian economy. So an 8% duty is, including GST, is a fair number, I feel.
So, gold has been a favorite topic of discussion with the government. We've seen the sovereign gold bond scheme come in and continue to do quite well. We saw record numbers in the previous year. Gold as a policy is something that really seems to be catching up. I mean, gold being brought under PMLA, KYCB needs to be produced when you buy gold beyond a specific amount. How are you looking at all of that being addressed into budget?
See, the PMLA aspect has been clarified as we last discussed on this. So we are okay as long as it is over the record and things are demanded beyond the 2 lakh scenario. Of course, we would love that to be increased further, because today 100-gram gold is over 5 lakh rupees. So there itself, the budgets are constrained for a PMLA aspect. But nevertheless, since that has been clarified, we will hold on to it as required. And we assume the Indian consumer will mature further in having their records in place and insisting on normal bank transfers and other aspects to avoid the cash issues.
Rajiv, how has the industry overall been? I mean, I know we've had this conversation earlier as well, that how the previous quarter saw very strong numbers. Now, especially with the Makar Sankranti, 14th of Jan is the beginning of wedding season in India yet again. What kind of numbers is the industry working with?
We are always looking at covering up with our numbers. So we are matching numbers of the previous year already. We are starting to look at growth this year. And hopefully, as the pandemic is clearing up and the vaccines coming in, we feel life is getting back to normal. More importantly for us is the celebrations, which is the weddings and other activities which relate to the investment in the jewelry aspect. So these are really important for us. As soon as life comes back to normal, we feel jewelry buying will be at its peak again. And since there's been a postponement of purchase all this time, I feel it can accumulate to a good number this year.
Sure. And Rajiv, since much of the business last year shifted to e-commerce and online in sense of jewelry buying, has that trend continued?
Yes, of course. What we believe is in omni-channel business. So the omni-channel business has helped us at least to stay afloat. And this is gaining strength. In fact, we are having a lot of consumers coming from outside Bombay shopping online with us. And I feel this is there to stay. It's a convenience which the consumer has bought. And it's not a temporary buy. So it's going to be a long-term situation having an omni-channel business.
Fair point that. So whether it's e-commerce or import duty, there's a lot that the jewelry sector as well is looking towards budget this time. Rajiv, thank you so much for joining us. Back to you, Ekta.
Okay, all right, Manisha, thanks very much for that. And on that note, we need to wrap up on Halftime Report with the news that the markets are still in the red, but Business Lunch will take all the top stories forward. Stay tuned.
Brought to you by